Hello everyone and welcome to the video. I am Shadows Rain and I'm going to be breaking down for you the skills that you need to be learning now to make sure that you're ready for Cold War, as some of the mechanics and the way things work have changed. So get ahead of the curve, get ahead of what you need to know, and get ahead of everyone in your skill range. So with that being said, if you do end up enjoying this video, make sure you hit that like button and consider subscribing if you're new here. And let's break it down. The footage that we've got today underneath the commentary is going to be foul footage from when it was good. Lol, remember that. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Cue the title card. So, in no particular order, the skills that you're going to be needing for Call of Duty Cold War are as follows. So, there has been mechanical changes to movement. So, we'll go over the movement ones first. We do have 10, as you can tell in the title. So, the first one that you're going to want to do is jump shooting. Now, the reason that you want to be doing jump shooting is because drop shotting has been nerfed to oblivion. And it looks like SMGs are going to be really popular in this game, just based on what I'm seeing in the alpha footage. So, with that being said, if you can start practicing your jump shooting, not necessarily jumping in like the open, but like if you can jump around corners, or if you can jump into cover from one place to another, that's going to be really beneficial for you. Remember, the lighter the gun you have, the higher and further you can jump, so get practicing with SMG builds. Preferably get practicing that in multiplayer. The majority of these are when you're practicing multiplayer, because you don't want to be letting your team down in Warzone. So when you do come to play Cold War Warzone, you do have all these skills in your arsenal ready. So jump shooting is going to be a big one. The next one that you're going to want is to really polish your SMG slide shooting. So again, slide shooting is kind of popular in Modern Warfare, but it's not super popular because you don't have that drop shot potential. You can't jump, then drop, then slide. You're going to have to be able to use that slide shooting. So if you can go into a slide, into a jump, or jump into a slide, these movement mechanics are really going to help your KD in the long run in both Warzone and multiplayer, and keeping moving is going to help massively. So that is one thing that you need to be doing. Number 3, if you are going to drop shot, you need to be doing it at point blank distance. The reason you need to be doing it at point blank distance is because when you go to drop shot, or say for example you go from prone to crouch, or crouch to prone, you will un-aim down sight. So if you are aiming down sight and you go and you change stance, you will be knocked out of your aim down sight stance. So that basically means if you're going to drop shot or try and crouch shot, you need to be very close to them. So this is going to be a really good strategy for shotguns or submachine guns. If you're trying to do this at like any slight of short, medium range or medium range, odds are you're going to get punished for it, and you're going to get punished hard. So try to stop drop shotting if that's something that you're doing. If you can stop your drop shotting now, though it may hurt your KD come the end of Modern Warfare, it's going to really put you in a good state of habits for the next Call of Duty Cold War game. So just bear that in mind. Now, also one thing that's been mentioned as well is that it is obviously a tryout game, and tryout games are always bright and beautiful, or always have been. This one's got a similar colour palette to Black Ops 1, and if you do remember that game, or you ever played that game, you'll know that shadows weren't really a thing, and it looks like shadows aren't really a thing in this one either. So if you do make good use of your shadows, then you need to get out of the habit of doing that as well. Again, a lot of these things is just going to be breaking habits that you may have got from Modern Warfare. So yeah, make sure that you're not hiding in shaded areas anymore. Like I say, you can do it in this game, but you're going to be in the bad habit of doing it once you come to the next one. So just get used to that. The next one that you need to really start doing a bit more is sound whoring. Footsteps are starting to work really well in this game, in Cold War. So apparently they're much better than what we've got on Modern Warfare and in Verdansk. So you need to get into the habit of just using your ears and trusting what you hear. I fully appreciate that is going to be harder on this game, because you've learned to not trust your ears as much as you normally would. But if you can get into the habit of trusting them a bit more and just start to follow what you hear, you're going to be in a really good place when Cold War comes out, purely because you're going to have an answer for everything. And the reason that that's important is because there is loads of perks and stuff around this game where you are going to be either affecting the footsteps. So there's equipment that makes your footsteps louder, there's perks that make your footsteps quieter but not completely invisible. There is many different things that you need to consider when it comes to footsteps in Cold War. you also have a Alt Walk button as well. So on PC, if you press Alt while working, of course I'm going to rebind that to something on my mouse, it's going to do a slow walk, so like Counter-Strike. I think Valorant does it as well, but I've never played Valorant. But yeah, if you want to be, you do have that option now, so obviously on PC it's a lot harder, but if you have a control pad, get into the habit of forcing yourself to slow walk, just slightly nudging that stick. If you're on PC, get into the habit of crouch walking, which I know a lot of you will be doing anyway, but get into the habit of doing that more often, because that's going to allow you to be walking quieter, because there is now a keybind which allows PC players to slow walk, which is amazing. I'm hoping that counts for ladders as well, because the last thing I hate in Warzone is climbing up a ladder and all you can hear is. So if you can climb up a ladder quietly, that would be very much appreciated. My fingers are actually really hurting after slapping the desk. Yeah, so get into the habit of actually being very conscious of your own footsteps by crouch walking, and you will be absolutely fine. Next is being very proficient with your equipment usage. So if you have equipment and they're only a second thought, get into the habit of throwing them as often as possible. The reason I'm going to be saying that is because there are multiple perks and equipment that are going to massively help your equipment usage. So you got stuff like your deployables, which are going to be very valuable now. You're going to have stuff which these come baked into classes now. You're going to have, obviously, of course, your normal grenades and lethals and you know, your tacticals and stuff like that. You really need to get into the habit of starting to use them now, because these maps are going to be very, very dependent on how you use them. And also, there's a few more vehicles in multiplayer now passively, so you're going to be needing to get into the habit of using them a bit more. You also, again, it's just a general good thing to be doing, even in this edition of Warzone. If you can get in the habit of throwing things, it's going to make you a better player. If you're not throwing things every single fight, then it's wasted potential. Obviously, you're not going to be throwing things at sniper range, obviously. But if there is a fight and someone is in your throwable range and you either need to close a distance or you just want to make the kill a bit easier for yourself, absolutely start throwing things. Stuns and flashes are really good on Warzone, purely because the Battle Hardened perk is absolutely awful. So, yeah, just bear that one in mind. You also now have wildcards in this game as well, which kind of act like gun perks in a way. So if you want overkill, this is where it's going to be. This allows you to take primary weapons, two of any weapons, so you can run 2 pistols if you want to, which would be really good if you're doing hardcore and you're trying to get your pistol challenges out the way. But yes, also shotguns are now a passive secondary weapon, so you will not need this wildcard to use a shotgun and an assault rifle, which I am petrified. If I'm being honest, that scares me. The fact that you can run an assault rifle, a sniper, and a shotgun again. That was back in Modern Warfare 2 days, and that was scary, especially considering this game's probably going to have a spaz in it. Ah, fun times, fun times. But yes, wildcards, so these can result in giving you max ammo and max equipment to start off with. So this is basically the fully loaded perk for the guns. You're going to have ones that can give you basically perk greed, where you can run up to 6 perks, which is going to be absolutely mental, 2 from each category. You also have a wildcard which allows you to use any perk up to 3 slots, so you can have 3 tier 3 perks if you so wish. And there's also other ones which allow you to basically take a fully equipped gun into Verdansk, but that's only for your primary. And that's going to be a really big one, because that means you can either, if you don't want all your perks, you can run an 8 attachment slot gun. Now imagine that for some of the guns that are going to have a lot of recoil, if you can just slap 8 attachments on it and completely neglect that. That is going to be absolutely mental. Now already consider that you get 5 just to start off with. There is no pick 10 or pick 12 system or anything like that. So you're going to be running there with 8 attachments. Now bear in mind that in Warzone you will be using a suppressor, and you will be likely using a mag attachment for your weapons. And then let's just say you usually run a sight. So that's 3. That usually in Warzone means you've got 2 attachments for, say, a barrel and a grip of some description. Maybe a stock if you used to run that barrel in, the Bruin in that no stock build before it got nerfed. But yes, just bear that in mind that you're going to have 5 slots now. 5 slots for non-essentials, so that's going to be absolutely ludicrous. But then you've got to decide if that's worth having normal starting ammo. You've got to decide that's worth a significant reduction in perks. You've got to find out what's more valuable to you, and you need to find out what that is early. So you need to decide what you value more as a player. Now, do you value your perks more than your attachments, or do you favour your attachments more than your perks, or do you like the versatility of having max ammo and max equipment? This is something that you're going to need to discover. If you don't know your play style, start thinking about it now. Start thinking about what you're dependent on and what your crutches are, and there will be a wild card for that, and plan how you're going to be using that. And then thoroughly encourage it. So go for your massive, your massive stuns and your lethal kills. Start practicing them more if that's the way that you're going to build your classes. Or maybe you want to be a quiet assassin, start practicing that way, but make sure you're moving when you've got Ghost, because Ghost is now only going to take effect when you're moving or capturing a objective. So that is something that you need to bear in mind. Next on the list is environment usage. So you will have seen that maps will have lots of water settings in, it'll have basically lots of points of interest where it's just little bits of cover. The better players, much like Warzone, are going to be those that can basically use their environment to their advantage. And you need to start practicing that right now. So, I mean, a good one for this would be practice like playing Battlefield, one that's not riddled with hackers at the minute. I say that because it's riddled with hackers. But this is something that you need to start thinking about quite a lot, because there is going to be a few maps on the multiplayer section of the game where you can use these things to your advantage, and I would be quite surprised if they didn't bring environmental factors into Warzone as well. So start using your environment to your advantage, and start finding ways that you can make yourself a better player by doing these things. And by that I mean, what you can do in Warzone right now is doors. Doors you can use to your advantage. Zip lines you can use to your advantage. These are all things that you can use to your advantage. High ground doesn't seem that prevalent, but I've not seen that much of the alpha yet to, we'll have a better idea of how much they're going to utilize high ground. But at the minute, high ground is something that you can do for your advantage. You got windows and the light difference. So if you're like at the back of a window and there's like really bright outside, play that to your advantage. If people are inside a window and you know that they're going to struggle to see out, throw something in there. Use your environment and what you know that they can see around you to your advantage. Now, the next thing that I want to move on to is there is a slower time to kill. This is normal of Treyarch games, and Treyarch games really benefit you using weapons that are currently like the EBR or the FAL or the SKS equivalent in Modern Warfare. Now, the reason that I say this is because they always have a weapon that is a 2-hit kill. It's usually in the assault rifle or DMR sections, but there are usually good weapons that you can use that are 2-hit kills. And I think if you can start practicing these weapons now and start practicing them in Warzone, then you're going to be really in a good place when the game starts. Because like I say, Treyarch, although I haven't seen any of those weapons yet, there will be those 2-hit kill weapons. There always has been, and I would thoroughly be surprised if there wasn't. So take this one from me, start practicing your EBR in multiplayer, start practicing your FAL, start practicing your SKS, and these weapons are probably going to be one of the more powerful ones in the game when it comes out. And the reason it's going to be one of the more powerful ones is because the time to kill is higher in this game. So thoroughly use that to your advantage. Use the guns that are a bit harder to kill with now, and they will be guns that are a lot easier to kill with in comparison in the next game. The only reason that the EBR and the SKS and the FAL do struggle a little bit, in my opinion, in this current game, is because the time to kill is too damn fast. So that's not a complaint, it's just an observation. So yeah, in a game where it's going to be a high time to kill, weapons like those are going to be really strong if you can use them. So get into the habit of using them. Also, as much as I hate to say this, and I hate to give you the advice to start practicing it now, purely because this is one thing that triggers me, is quickscoping is making a return in Cold War, which is a bit crap. I do hope to fix that, but at the minute, quickscoping is a thing and it is returned. So if you do enjoy quickscoping, if you were a good quickscoper, or if you were interested in getting into quickscoping but didn't really like the inconsistency of the Kar 98, yeah, start your quickscoping practice now as well. I hate myself for saying that, and some people here are going to hate me for saying that as well, but this is just how it is. So if that's something that you're interested in, start doing it, but be warned, I will find a way to counter you and I will find a way to make your life horrible, and I will make a video telling everybody how to do that, so just bear that in mind. Wink, wink. Last but not least, certainly not least, is objectives equals kill streaks. Now, the way that the score streak system works is that you don't lose it when you die. Instead, you get multipliers towards your score depending on how well you do in individual life. So say, for example, I get 10 kills in one life. I don't know if it's an exact 10 times multiplier at score, but I would be increasing my score towards my next kill streak substantially. And you also get these points for capturing objectives. So you will get multipliers for capturing objectives, and you will also get multipliers for getting kills and on objectives as well. So it's basically a game that you're not going to get any kill streaks by camping in a corner and just waiting to pick people off and waiting all game and then all of a sudden getting a gunship. It's not going to work that way. If you want your kill streaks, you will be guaranteed them, as will everybody else, but you're going to get them quicker by playing the objective and by playing semi or fully aggressively. You're not going to get rewarded for camping in this game, which is massive, really big thing. So yeah, get practicing hammering in those kill streaks. Your KD is probably going to take a bit of a dip, much like mine does in multiplayer. Like, I've got near a 1.8 KD in Warzone, but my KD in multiplayer is about 1.2, and that's about average with the A1A, to be honest, because we are always hammering the objectives, and we get killed a lot of times going for the objectives. If we wanted, we could easily do team deathmatches, and honestly, I think that the players like me, Hexy, Wolf, I reckon we could get KDs of 2 and above, at least, in that, even with skill-based matchmaking if we so chose. But we play the objectives, so we are doomed to oblivion because we're not rewarded for doing it yet in kill streaks. But you will be in this game, so start playing the objective if you don't already. Start playing objective game modes if you don't already. Start putting on your score streak perk and capturing objectives. I know it's not hardline, I know, but if you can start getting into the habit of using your basically being rewarded for doing your objectives by using your score streak perk, then you are going to be in a good place, and it's not going to be too jarring for you when you come to use the kill streak system in Cold War. You're going to be the less things that you need to adapt to in the game is going to be the difference between who starts off really well and who struggles a bit to begin with. And sometimes if you struggle a bit to begin with, depending on how often you, like for example, if you work 40 hours a week and then you come back just to chill for a few hours in COD, those people are going to really suffer. However, if those people learn these habits now, then when it comes to playing the game when it comes out, they've got less to get used to because they already know exactly what they're doing, because they're already practicing it and, you know, just getting into good habits for it in that thing. So if anything, they're going to be ahead of those who actually have more time in the game. So I urge you to really start taking that approach. And yeah, did you enjoy this video? Please let me know in the comment section below. And did I miss anything out? Again, let me know in the comments. Let's get a conversation going. I do reply to everything in the comments, providing that it's not spam. But yeah, absolutely. If you something you want to say, something you want to bring up, let me know. And if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you hit that like button. We have a lot more gameplay for videos coming out in the coming days. We have some streams coming in over the weekend, probably going to be a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday night. Don't know yet, we'll see where that goes. But I'm in the habit now where I'm starting to upload videos a lot more regularly. So I basically want to try and adopt the system where if I'm not uploading something on a day, I want to be streaming on that day instead. Basically, so every single day there's something coming out for you guys. So I am working towards that objective there for you. So yeah, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do, make sure you do all the usuals, also that bell icon as well, and I will see you in the next video. Peace!